to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday morning. Welcome back to the insanity. It is 5 minutes after 9 o'clock on the West Coast, November 27th, 2023. So marching into the end of the month here. November sure went by quick, eh? End of the week, it'll be December, heading into Christmas. Hope you all had an enjoyable U.S. Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I'm not sure if it was a holiday or anywhere else in the world, or is it just the Americans? I don't know whether there's might be a Hallmark holiday here in Canada. Wouldn't be surprised, like another family day or something. We did, of course, have the Black Friday sales event. I have to say, I was pretty impressed. The team really pulled off quite a feat here. Looks like we've got a bunch of people all signed up for the dashboard, so that's good to see. And if anything, over the coming weeks and sessions, look forward to we're going to really, Stuart and I are really going to work on building tutorials on how to build screeners and like replicate his favorite screener, which I totally want to do on the system. And also, too, Stuart's got the email notification of things like breadth cross and your screener signals and stuff like that in the works. So a whole bunch of really cool things in development, right? It just on the cusp of being released. Not yet, though. And as well, Stuart and I are working diligently away on our crypto pages. I mean, the good part about Stuart's fundamental analysis is I don't think the story really changes a heck of a lot from session to session with his ideas. That's this. And I would highly encourage you all, if you are interested, just to get to know these stories and a little bit of background. Just give you context. Not a bad idea. If you are very serious about this crypto run, these are the names that TRI's like seriously invested in. And I have to say, actually, I'm pretty impressed. I think we started out with about 150 or so, just in the kitty, ready to go for this cycle. And we've worked that up to over 250. So I'm pretty happy about that. As well, we have the little old lady demo portfolio, Nanny Nibbles, just coming in. This account was funded with about $10,000 or so. And you can see there's like, ideally I'd like to have like $500 increments in each of these. Again, a little bit sloppy, a little bit behind in the reporting, but I am working on it. Nonetheless, if you are looking for names to consider, these are some of the names that I've got set up for the Nanny Nibbles little old lady play here through this cycle as well. So lots of good content on the site, and actually, I'm pretty pleased to see the direction TRI is going in. We have a nice diverse basket of like quality information for you, and also I think really good education. Interesting how the education part of the course or course materials and stuff is actually a little bit soft right now. I have a funny feeling if we get a nice big thumping here in the market and in crypto in particular, you might find that or at least I might find that all of a sudden interest in, hey, maybe I should be working with a plan because I really don't know what the hell I'm doing here, starts to perk up. I thought it was interesting in yesterday's Broiler Chicken show. I just sort of tertiarily commented on the fact that things like the Ethereum down proxies actually came right into reload zones and are now starting to tick up. We had a inside bar fire here. I suppose you could also argue a 3-bar fractal. Now a 5-bar fractal here has fired. So and I was pretty surprised. I woke up this morning and crypto is swimming in a sea of red. There are a couple of names. I'm not quite sure what this CTX story here is. I noticed he's jumped up quite nicely here today. Look at that. If you're long this bad boy off the, and the interesting thing, folks, is W's are W's are W's. Anybody can do this. I mean, hopefully you can see that's pretty well defined W right there. Had you pulled the trigger on that event, would you be a happy camper today? I think so. And of course, there's that crazy Luna story. Not quite sure what to make out of that thing. I did ask if anybody on the site happened to fancy themselves a Luna expert to come on down and talk to us and try and explain what the hell's going on over there. But I understand there's like some sort of like God, I don't even know how to describe it. In the lounge, and again, like I said, probably over the coming days we'll understand this a little bit better about what's going on. In the lounge, I saw earlier this morning someone had posted. Oh, there you are, CVX. Oh, is that what that's? Is that's CTX? Oh, it's slightly different than CVX. But where was that article on? I think it was this one here. Somebody, I guess, is thinking that I don't know. There's basically some sort of finesse trade going on here. If you can read through this and you can understand what's going on, feel free to pop in the room with us and in the after party here today. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's kind of fun to watch. Woohoo! Bought this stable coin again. It's just the same stuff. It's everything that we try to teach you people. And really, there's nothing new. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. But I mean, hopefully you can see. Yeah, there was a nice W that came in here. And on this event, we were like, hey, let's go pick some up. And sure enough, kaboom! We call this the gold-plated vodka trade. Because, yeah, here it is here. And I don't know, we probably should take at least some profits on this. I don't know. Interesting how we banged up into 4669s and were rejected. Usually, it's interesting when you do blow through 2.618s. Usually we head straight up into 4669s. And then if we can blow through 4669s, next stop is 877s. I think it probably makes sense. Horizontal support and resistance. You guys have probably heard me talk about this at length. Our buddy that we do the Coinigy shows with, I think he probably hears this in his sleep now. But where are all of these poor folks who bought into the euphoria of these particular moves up here? Where were they sleeping? They were sleeping in the doghouse, on the couch, wherever. Wife wasn't very happy with them, or husband. I suppose it could be either way. But the cliche goes, the husband goes and gambles in the market, and the wife, of course, is not overly impressed. Anyway, as we're finally banging into all of these wicks here, I think we probably found some sellers that were like, oh my God, thank goodness, get me the hell out of there. Are we establishing a new wick here that will trap a whole bunch of new bulls in here? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. And really, I wouldn't think about touching this like in earnest until we work our way back up to, really, if this thing's for real, then they'll try and bring this thing back to parity. You can see, look left, the important sort of key resistance levels are, this high right here, 9, and that high right there, 11. You see there's a bunch of trap bulls in there. If you see this thing printed 12, 13 kind of idea, 14, 15, it might take a serious run back up top. So anyway, all that matters here is we picked some up off the bottom. We're sitting on a risk-free trade now. I just have to find my guy who actually pulled the trigger. I'm doing all these crazy ass trades in DeFi land and stuff, and oh man, it's a headache. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. But good to see. Can't complain. Certainly got nothing to complain about there. So it's a kind of a mixed bag in crypto. It is interesting. First thing out of the gate this morning, I saw this was all red. So there are a couple interesting little perk ups, like sushi here seems to be coming back to life, up actually a bit now. And our resident genius, Zug, in the crypto space, loves this Frax. Actually, he had a family member come in and talk to us a little bit about his particular industry. And down here, I was like, oh my God, this thing looks so incredible. You got to go buy some of this. So I don't know whether he listened to TRI, but if he did, he'd probably be a happy camper. No, interesting. Sjord's names are just unstoppable here. And I think, as I told you the other day, the key here will be, do we actually start to see these M's actually start to come in? So interesting how Rune's trying to buck the overall trend in the crypto space. But you can see some of the names, they're looking a little tired here. So wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of a pullback here. And if anything, this is the reason why you can't chase this stuff up top here. Because you get like a week or two period where they pull this thing back into, probably, I think I've told all of you and what we teach in the education program is at any given point in time, you should expect 38.2 retracements. So what a big surprise. Here we are. We're working our way lower. There's 38.2 into this tail here. And if you bought up top here and you had to go through this, then you don't know what's going to happen. This thing might am out and you are trapped there forever. And you are one of those poor souls sleeping on the couch. So don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. You know how that goes. So anyway, kind of we had a very interesting weekend in crypto, especially with things like that funny little Luna and the stable coin associated with it. But you do see that there's a fair amount of red on the screen here today. So let's see if they can slowly turn this thing around. And we start to see the alts printing green. If not, then my hunch is, and I've said this to you before, I actually think it's the alts that are pushing this market up. And if they keep pushing up, then Bitcoin turns around and goes, hey, what the hell, man? I thought I was the shit. And it starts taking off here. But if we are rolling over in earnest, and just watch for these M's. If they do start coming in earnest, then you'll know that we probably are due for a bit of a pause. Also, too, crypto, generally speaking, loves to rally into that sort of November window. And then usually we find like sort of the second or third week of December, right around that irrational exuberance kind of time in the market, things can get ugly. So, and also too, remember we have tax loss selling coming up into the end of the year. So anybody who is sitting underwater, for example, this one, just I don't even know. Actually, the entire calendar year, this guy's going to be up. But there are a bunch of these that we just randomly pick a name here. If you had bought this anywhere sort of beginning of last year, and you are sitting on a capital gain somewhere else, there actually is incentive for you to sell into the end of the year and offset the capital gains taxes that are going to be owed with booking this capital loss. So just understand that into the end of the year, venture capital usually sees a little bit of selling pressure. We'll see how it goes. As for the broader market, kind of a mixed message. Interesting to see NASDAQ trying to push higher here. Interesting how the Dow is actually heading the other direction. So as a result, S&P is kind of a combination of both. They're slightly up on the day. I think Chris had an opening range short on the ES. I don't particularly like to trade the retail opening range on the stock market. I think it's a bit trappy, and Monday as well, a bit trappy. Was pleased with my behavior today. The most important thing, since I've been out of the loop for so long when it comes to futures trading and actually like risking money in the market, is your behavior. So quite pleased to see. I haven't had too many Demon Finder entries. You can see here is today. Yeah, we had some econs. We could talk a little bit about the econs in a second. Usually Monday's a bit suspect of a day anyway. You have to be careful, but nonetheless, took the opening range trade. And I might even argue, like if I was actually set up trading, I like to trade at extremes. I don't really like to take trades at the POC, and actually NML here to me stands for no man's land. And really, I like the idea of shorting against these highs. This is the crude oil market, or buying against these lows. Sitting right here, it's kind of like, nah, it's not really the best trade location. So I wasn't, and considering it's Monday, right, I don't really want to take huge risks, but nonetheless, I did have opening range trade, and I'm very, like I said, I'm very pleased at myself for just being the demonstrator of best practices. It's what I say in my affirmations. Is my job is to just demonstrate how to do this day in, day out, and just come in. And what I want to see, what I want to show you is win, loss, win, 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 loss, loss. I mean, this is the way a trader's life works. And ideally, we'd like to see 66% under the win category and are net profitable, and that's the whole point of this. So anyway, we had a nice little opening range trade first thing this morning, which translated into just a very small win. We had the initial one-to-one profit level hit, then she backed off to our entry level, and we're stopped out on the remaining. Next, plan's done for the day. Next busting tomorrow morning. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow morning. So anyway, quite pleased to see process goals marching along quite nicely there. I would say on balance, as I said, it is Monday. Mondays, generally speaking, kind of light on the news. We did have a couple of interesting prints, and I think one print that kind of speaks to exactly what I've been talking to you guys about recently, and that is that the Fed can only really consider it sort of war on inflation, sort of 2023 style, done when it sees that the housing market, because now they've securitized houses, which I think is morally corrupt from the get-go. But it is the world that we live in. Thank you very much, bankster crooks. The housing market, and I'd even reported that, consumer price inflation CPI indexes for the housing rentals were like just screaming higher. So unfortunately, it's Joe Sixpack who rents, who doesn't own, who's getting killed. So until that data set starts rolling over, I don't think the Fed's done with this higher for longer. But we are starting to see, and this is the kind of data that we need to see to actually stay, well, it looks like that Jerry's finally got in front of this housing inflation. And, the Finks and stuff of the world going out and just buying like whole developments, 300 houses, just write a check, done. I think those days are behind us. And actually, something that really jumped out at me that I was quite surprised at is if you actually look at the home sales data, there is the sickness peak and how people just went absolutely crazy buying houses and brand new houses. I don't know whether really that, to be honest with you, this doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. I guess this is your golden handcuffs people up here. So all these people that bought and locked in the mortgages at the really, really low rates, they're trapped. But it is interesting what letter of the alphabet is that. So that should be very telling to us. But what I do find fascinating now is they talk about how, well, there's a shortage of housing. Actually, this is a new home sales. If there was a shortage of housing, this would keep ticking up because demand would just be overwhelming. That's not the case. New home sales, really, over the past year here, this has been just a shadow of that 2020 peak. And the interesting thing about that is if we actually go and look at, well, the housing market is booming, and so actually there's the U.S. housing bubble. And this peak here from the sickness is actually just a shadow of that previous cycle. And here we are now here. We're not even 50% of this range anymore, right? And technically speaking, we should expect a 50% bounce of this range. And, I might even argue that, this recent sell-off, we probably should have seen a 50% bounce of that range. So you can make the argument that the housing industry is not nearly as strong as what all the talking heads and the media and the public are being spoon-fed to believe. This housing market it's an absolute shadow of its former self, which again, I have to reiterate the stupidity of like real estate markets here in China. This doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, this China market should crash. It's just, when does somebody go, oh, turns out the emperor doesn't have any clothes on, and then boom, down goes price. So I did find that quite fascinating. Anybody who actually does fundamental analysis on this, and what I love to do is I love to do technical analysis on fundamental data sets. That pisses off the fundamentalists to no end. I mean, I hate to say it, folks, but that's turning into very Emmy. If this M's out here, holy crap, this thing could be in trouble. Because I got a funny feeling this is like a fake bull market rally here that people were expecting. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. But this, I think, is the most important thing to see sort of the end game of this higher for longer Fed stance on short-term interest rates, is they have to see this thing break. And then we have to start seeing that, the public that's getting screwed over by these landlords cranking rents up, that has to go away. As soon as that does, then probably the Fed can start talking in seriousness about actually lowering rates, but I don't see it yet. If anything, if they let off and they say, oh no, you know what, we're done, you might find that this thing ticks back up. I doubt it, because these are going to be new home sales now. And with the very high mortgage rates, they're even saying that the demand for these houses at this higher mortgage rate it's a shadow of its former self. So anyway, that was an interesting data print. So, the headline here is new home sales fall more than expected. I suppose, man, because it's a Monday, and I guess the market's kind of just like, okay, how the hell are we going to digest this? Or, how do we digest this? It's kind of just flatlining here first thing Monday morning. Of course, I think that we're now going to go through sort of the hangover of the holiday weekend, U.S. Thanksgiving holiday weekend, the Black Friday, and now I suppose Cyber Monday. And I suppose it wouldn't be a shill without Brian shilling you. What a wonderful deal TRI offers. I suppose we're still in this holiday weekend, so might as well shill you here. The only question is, where the hell's the damn page? Anyway, I can just load it up here. Yeah, still got 1 day. So there you go. All the marketing departments say, yeah, get one more plug in, Brian. So Black Friday, what the hell's this? He went to jail because these Black Friday deals are too good. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Man, is that from that must be from Julian's Thursday broadcast. Was that when did you and Julian do this on Thursday? Chris, are you here? I don't know that Chris is here or not. Anyway, that's an
I had
interesting.
nothing to do with this. This was marketing and Julian's doing. So
Okay,
all the
they're going
credit should go to
over the
them on
top.
this.
Play the video. Nah, I'll let you guys do it on your own. If anything, there's the teaser. Go watch. Go to the page to see what the hell happened to Julian. Is he in jail? I'll throw it. Actually, what the hell? We'll throw it over there on the YouTube as well. So there you go. Maybe you can maybe even put in the video and check out why Julian's in the slammer while you're at it. Anyway, so if you, and frankly speaking, a good thumping in crypto would probably be healthy for this space. And I think it'll remind some people, especially people who made some nice, easy money here recently, that, hey, maybe I better be working with a plan and get everything all structured about what setups are and what do actual good buying opportunities actually look like. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Because right now, if anything, I'm almost a little worried that in this space, and this sometimes happens, and especially if someone's just tuning in now, what would be interesting actually is to to get to see how many new people are on in the crypto space. Chris always has to tell me this address. What is it? It's google.trends dot something. Trends.google.com. I always get that wrong. Anyway, what happens if we go Bitcoin and really I kind of a piss off how they sort of pigeonhole you here. I don't really care. Ironically enough, I don't really care about Canada. Canada represents about 3% of the world's equity market. So is Canada really that relevant in the world's history? No. Canadians themselves sure think that they're important. Yeah, now this is interesting. So you can see that sure looks like a double bottom. So there are people that are coming in here. That's the past day. Well, let's see. What we going in the past week or so? Well, was working its way up there. I suppose that is into that holiday weekend, Black Friday event. You can see we were ramping up. Looks like maybe just a little bit of a hangover here today. We're calming down, but you did see there was a little bit of a W coming in there. And if we go probably like over the last month or so, let's see what we got there. A little bit of an uptick in interest. But these kind of people, and really probably, it might even be interesting to look at like crypto. But these kind of people that are just coming into the space now, they probably are looking at this going, well, geez, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. I buy anything and it'll go up. And if I'm really lucky, I'll go and buy a stable coin and it'll be revalued and I'll make a fortune, not even really knowing what the hell I'm doing. Or you know what? I'll listen to some guy named Fjord and eat some pancakes, and I'll just buy whatever the hell he wants, and it's just easy peasy. However, if this thing does M out and start work its way back down to the bottom, you can see where if I wanted to buy, I'm going to buy. Those are the kind of people that when this kind of event happens, they're going to be like, oh, well, maybe I do need to get some education. So anyway. The program is there ready to go for you. If you would like to join us, I think we have pretty good reviews. And we also got a cute little discount here because of the Black Friday deal. So there's the shill. Now back to our regular scheduled program. As I had said, and interesting to see stock market breadth is still working its way higher. I was actually kind of pleased to see that, we got to the point there, I guess almost a month ago now, where crypto was ridiculously overbought. So things have kind of cleaned themselves up. The only problem here now, though, and I showed you in the broiler chicken show yesterday, breadth in the crypto space, if we look at like sort of the whole universe, it is cleaning itself up. I won't spend too much time on here. Not really ridiculously overbought, kind of just sort of midline now. And if anything, if we want to get uber bullish again, what we really want to see is we want to see some W start to form here. With regard to the Bitcoin price, and we'll probably leave off the broadcast at this right now. Still think, I think my general message right now is this message is as long as we keep painting higher highs and higher lows, then I think that we're in one of these. It's like it's a narrow sideways channel, but it's slightly cockeyed and it's like tilted to the upside. And usually what happens is you have like a big blast off into that event, and then you have like a final blast off on the other side of the event. And it's sort of like this actually sets up this. They always say that markets can't move in a straight line forever. And if you think about it, right, a whole bunch of people go long, then we have to sort of balance out. You can't have everybody in the world long because then you run out of buyers. So you got to let a few people come in. Maybe I'll short here. Maybe I'll take profits, whatever. Market gets balanced out a little bit more, and then they can have the final push up top. And you saw my reference with fog and bombs earlier. I do like a nice little pop all the way up top here if this thing really is for real. And I think this is all going to be predicated on the ETF announcement. Having said that, this is Bitcoin. I think I might be a little bit more concerned about things like, I'm hearing, and I had mentioned in that free video yesterday that I did that there's a gentleman that I respect. His name's Guy, I think, and he's saying that his feeling is that the Justice Department down in the States, and also Treasury, and Granny and her brutal mispronunciation, totally on purpose, of what was it called, Binance, something stupid. You would think that she would at least take the time to learn how to pronounce the name correctly, but I think that was done totally on purpose. But
I think
anyway,
she pronounced it Binance, like you know how some economists pronounce it finance instead of finance.
yeah, okay. I don't, do they hear you when you speak on the videos that I do, Chris?
Yes.
All right, cool. So everybody, you just got schooled by Chris. Thank you, Chris. I had showed you earlier on in this video the down proxy on Ethereum. And, if you fancy yourself a trader, well, you better be up to speed with this kind of stuff. Which page? I was over here. As I said, as long as we still see this kind of price action, then the bull's not totally dead. I always say there's a bull somewhere. But as I had pointed out, this like these bear proxies, they seem to be ticking up here a bit. We had mentioned how that's actually a reload zone, and if you're a sharp trader, well, that's actually a pretty normal trade, and it's working higher. So really, it's just a question of, does this thing go and M out? If you see, and maybe if you've never heard this before, write this down. But if you ever see the market smiling at you, and the smile is confirmed on this event right here, but if you ever see the market smiling at you, be careful. Usually wants to take your money away from you. So just be aware of that. As I had said earlier, they haven't M'd out yet, but they're getting closer. And then when the M's actually do fire, well, then we have to go into correction mode. So it hasn't happened yet, but there is tells. And like I said, the sharp traders, I think they actually got a little bit of a trade window here yesterday. So there's sort of your market state to start the week off. I'd also say too, just general sort of best practices kind of idea. The first week of December historically has been, they called it, well, there's one of the old Fed governors down in the States, Alan Greenspan. He affectionately called this kind of euphoria in the market irrational exuberance. And it happens quite a bit coming out of that October trough. I don't think actually Halloween and all that, I don't think it's an accident. All of that happens when it does. Usually the stock markets, if they're going to dump, they like to dump in September, October. Coming out of that, there's usually almost just like a knee-jerk reaction. Just get me the hell out of here. I'm a bull. Rah, look at me. But is this really sustainable, folks? I mean, come on. So the stock market, the entire capital market has gone up 10% in less than a month. Is that realistic? Is that sustainable? I don't think so. So historically, and December 6th, 1996, I can't believe it's that long ago. This is when Mr. Greenspan made his famous irrational exuberance speech. And frankly speaking, I mean, you all should be able to tell me what is the knee-jerk, always market, or not always, you can't say always in the market, but market generally likes to correct this to this fib level. I gave you a big hint there. At any given point in time. So you should always have it on the radar screen. That's good old 38.2. So don't be shocked if over the next week or two, you actually do see a bit of a pullback here. And we settle out, probably going to test a big fat round number at 4,400. That wouldn't surprise me. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If I was a betting man and I was sort of betting on what should happen here through this first week or two of December, following the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend, following the Black Friday. And I think I actually posted some videos yesterday when I was talking to you in the Broiler Chicken show about how absolutely desolate the shopping malls were. Like nobody doing any shopping. So we might actually get some pretty rude surprises by the market that it turns out actually nobody did do any Black Friday shopping. Yeah, actually the economy is not nearly as strong as you think it is. And boosh, back down she goes. So I'd keep your eyes open for that. All right. I think on balance, that's probably where I'm going to leave it here for today. We'll head on over and have some fun in the after party, but that was basically about a half-hour report. So I hope you got some value out of that. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. If you can take advantage of our Black Friday deals, we'd love to have you on board, either in the education program or in our pro trader workbench. Slow and steady wins a race. The only thing left for me to say to you good people is bye for now.